Welcome to this class. Today I am continuing the chapter Wave of the subject Science and Technology of class 10. And this chapter is taken in unit number 10, and we have divided this chapter into 11 different parts. Out of 11 parts, this is the last one, 11th part. In this part, we are going to focus on other method of correction of eye defect and other problems of eye. What it mean? Other is told. What it mean? In previous class, I told you in detail about the defect of vision. There were two defects, myopia and hypermetropia. These defects are very common in the people, and they are wearing a spectacle. Now, we are talking about without the spectacle, this problem cannot be solved. Is there any other method to solve the problem of myopia and hypermetropia? What are they? Just you also think about this. Have you heard about this? Beside this spectacle, can we use any other method or not? This we are going to talk today. We are going to discuss today. And next, is there only myopia and hypermetropia? Only these two defects is associated with eye, or there are other defects also? We are going to talk about this also. There are other problems also related to eye. So, beside myopia and hypermetropia, how can we solve the problem of eye? I mean to say, this defect of eye. First, let's go through this. But let's have a little understanding or recall, let's say recall, about the myopia and hypermetropia, what was taught in previous class, and then we'll proceed other matter. Okay, look at this. Correction of myopia. What I told in previous class, this is myopia. In case of myopia, distant objects are focused in front of the retina, but near objects can be seen clearly. Near objects are focused on the retina. This is eye defect. The major defect is distant object is not focused on the retina. And to solve this problem, we can use concave lens. When concave lens is used, then parallel rays of light at first diverges a little, and then only it comes to our eye. And when eye converges it, now the converging point moves backward and the image falls on retina. This way, the myopia can be corrected by using concave lens. It was taught in previous class. Now, what about hypermetropia? In case of hypermetropia, distant objects can be seen clearly. Look at this is represented by dot line. But near objects are focused behind the retina. Due to this reason, near objects cannot be seen clearly. Now, this problem can be solved by using convex lens. How? The rays of light coming from near object is first converged by this convex lens of spectacle, and then again it will be converged by, now convex lens of eye. Since two convex lenses are used to converge the ray of light, that's why converging point doesn't go away, it comes towards what? Retina, and the image falls on retina. This way hypermetropia can be corrected. All these were taught in previous class. But is there any other method to correct this myopia and hypermetropia? What do you think? Have you heard about this? Now we are talking about the correction of eye defect without using a spectacle. Have you heard about this? Number one, using contact lens. We can solve this problem by using contact lens also. We can solve this problem, I mean to say myopia and hypermetropia can be corrected by using laser eye surgery also. Yes, there are two famous methods, using contact lens, using laser eye surgery. This contact lens, now let's talk about contact lens. What is it? Contact lens is a thin lens placed directly on the surface of the eye to cover the iris and pupil for the correction of eye defect. I want to show this in picture. Look at this. This lady is about to use this contact lens. She is trying to put this contact lens in her eye. And actually its size, look at the size, it covers this iris. Iris is the colored part of the eye. It was taught in previous class. And this middle central part which appears black, this is pupil. And pupil is surrounded by iris. Color of iris determines the color of eye. Her eye is greenish or somewhat bluish color. It is not normal iris. Normally iris has brown color, but at this time it is a little bluish eye. Okay, whatever it is not related to this contact lens. When we put the contact lens over this cornea in such a way that it covers the pupil and iris, then the problem can be solved. What problem? Myopia or hypermetropia can be corrected. Okay, now what are the advantages of this? Why not we are using a spectacle? Why to use contact lens? There are certain advantages of contact lens. Number one, it does not show the eye defect. What it mean? It means whether you have eye defect or not, no one can understand if transparent contact lens is used. Yes, if you don't want to show your defect of eye to the people, then you can use contact lens. And second, it provides wider field of view. What it mean? If we wear this spectacle, then here we have certain space which is not covered, and it provides narrow range of view. But this contact lens covers the iris and pupil completely. That's why it provides wider field of view. Now third, it is useful to athletes and other players. If an athlete is taking part in the 100-meter race, or an athlete is taking part in high jump or long jump, or a player is playing basketball or something, then if he has eye defect, myopia or hypermetropia, now he can use this contact lens instead of spectacle. Spectacle is very inconvenient in the games, to the athletes and to the players. So these are the major advantages of contact lens. Nowadays contact lens is used as a fashion also. You can change the color of eye. Instead of brown colored iris, it provides blue color iris, or it provides green color also. Contact lens is available in different color. It is transparent, but maybe of green color, maybe of blue color, or maybe transparent. So nowadays it is used as fashion also. Okay, now we have to take care while using this contact lens. That I want to tell you in detail. Precautions while using contact lens. These are the precautions. First, hands should be properly cleaned while wearing and removing contact lens. When we take contact lens in eye, at that time also when we take it out at the time of sleeping, I mean to say at night, we'll take it out and we'll sleep without this contact lens. Then we have to use our hand. And if hand is infected, if there is some certain bacteria in the hand, then it will enter into eye and it may cause certain damage on the cornea also. Just for example, the outermost layer of our eyeball is sclera, and in the front side, sclera is also covered with thin membrane. This is called conjunctiva. If there is infection because of the bacteria, then we might have conjunctivitis. That's why we have to clean our hand while wearing and removing the contact lens. Now next, it should be dipped into given liquid while not in use. Normally whenever you go to buy this contact lens, then in this medical store, then the contact lens is dipped into salt solution. The percentage of salt is very less, even though it prevents the damage of the contact lens. And if contact lens is not in use, then we have to put it into that salt solution. Otherwise, it will dry out and it may damage, it can damage the cornea of the eye also. Okay, now let's talk about another precaution. We should protect contact lens from dust, smoke and high heat radiation. If there is dust in the air, then if it enters into our eye and if it enters in between the contact lens and cornea, then the scratch may occur. It will scratch the cornea. And smoke is also very small, this solid particles. It will also damage the cornea and it will also damage the eye. And sometimes lot of heat if comes to contact lens, then it will melt the contact lens and it can remain attached with the cornea and it will damage the cornea. That's why we have to be careful about this. We have to be a little away from lot of heat radiation. Okay, these are the precautions while using contact lens. Now let's go to another part. What I told you, one of the method of removal of defect of eye is contact lens. Beside that is spectacle. Another method is laser surgery of eye. Now let's talk about laser surgery. This is permanent method than that of the contact lens. Okay, at first a flap of cornea is cut with the help of laser beam. Then the flap is folded and the shape of cornea is changed according to the requirement. And this process is called LASIK, laser assisted in situ keratomiliosis. Look at this. This is the name of the process. But the laser surgery, what is written here, can be easily understood with the help of this diagram. Look at this, how it is done, laser surgery. At first, this laser is used to cut this a part of the cornea, a little, not a lot. The cornea is thick and so a little it is cut like this and then it is folded, the flap of cornea is folded and we have now open what? Open cornea, isn't it? Now we can say this way, in this surgery a thin flap is cut in the cornea using a laser, then the flap is lifted and folded back to expose the cornea. Now cornea is exposed. Now what we do with this cornea, this way laser is used to reshape the cornea. Either a little cornea is a little flattened or it is a little bulged, its curvature is made sharp. And we reshape this cornea. Later I will talk in detail what is reshape exactly. And then after reshaping, we'll turn this flap again in its position, previous position. We can say this way, the cornea is reshaped using a laser to correct vision and the flap is put back into the place. Now it takes few minutes, again the flap connects itself to the cornea. Yeah, within few minutes, it's very natural process. Okay, this is surgery, but this flap again rejoins, it takes its place again. Okay, now let's talk about the correction of myopia by this laser surgery. Exactly what is done? Look at this is short-sightedness, myopia. Yes, here we have problem because the distant objects are focused in front of the retina. Now we are doing something, we are going through surgery to focus the distant object on the retina, not at this place. And what we do in this surgery, what is done, previously I told about the surgery. Have you noticed this? This curvature is less than this curvature. the gap between the lens and this cornea here is more, here is less. Why? By the surgery, the middle part of the cornea is a little flattened, and when it is flattened, then the power of eye, converging capacity of eye becomes less. Here, because of the more converging capacity, distant objects were focused in front of the retina, but the power of the cornea is reduced. Because of this reason, now converging capacity becomes less and image falls on the retina behind the previous converging point. If you have to write somewhere, you can write this way: for the correction of myopia, the central part of the cornea is flattened by the use of laser beam. To decrease the converging capacity of eye, we have to decrease the converging capacity of eye, otherwise this image won't form on the retina. Converging capacity of eye, due to which distant objects can also be focused on the retina. This is the method of correction of myopia by laser surgery. Now what about this hypermetropia? How do we correct hypermetropia by laser surgery? This way. Look at this is eyeball. And in case of hypermetropia, near objects are focused behind the retina. Yes, because the converging capacity of lens is less, lens is thin. Now how do we correct this by laser surgery? We have to make certain changes on the cornea. That we do this way. The cornea, in case of cornea, the edge of the cornea is flattened and middle part is bulged. If the edge of the cornea is flattened, then the curvature will be more. It means the converging capacity of this cornea is increased. If converging capacity of the cornea is increased, now because of the increased converging capacity, now image doesn't form behind the retina, it will fall in front of the previous converging point, that is on the retina. Yes, it can be written shortly like this also. To correct the hypermetropia, the edges of the cornea is flattened a little and the central part is raised to increase the converging capacity, due to which near objects can also be focused on the retina. This is the method of correction of hypermetropia. Exactly what we do in this laser surgery I told you. Okay, now it's time to talk about the other problem. We have other problem also beside myopia and hypermetropia. There are other problem also related to eye. What are these? Other problem of eye except eye defect. Yes, except myopia and hypermetropia. What are they? Cataract. In Nepali, it is called moti bindu. Second, color blindness. And third, night blindness. This is called ratando in Nepali, isn't it? These are the other problem. I think you have heard about this, moti bindu, isn't it? Cataract and color blindness, a person cannot recognize the color properly, and night blindness at night, if a person cannot see the object clearly, that is called night blindness. Let's have detailed idea about each of them. At first, cataract. Let's talk about the cataract. The cloudy areas that form in the lens of eye due to the aggregation of crystalline protein is called cataract. I think you have heard about this. Usually it occurs in old age. Usually, not the rule. It occurs, this moti bindu occurs usually in old age. What happens exactly? This is, let's say, the convex lens of eye. It is made of what? Living cells, and these cells contains protein also, and protein is mixed with water, and if proteins segregate from water, then the crystalline protein makes the lens a little cloudy this way. If the cloudiness, I mean to say the cloudiness is if increased, then visibility becomes less, and it becomes less and less and less, and at last the person becomes blind. This is cataract, motibindu, isn't it? This is related to what? Convex lens of eye. Okay, we can say this way, when cloudy area increases, then visibility goes on decreasing due to the loss of transparency of lens. And lastly, the patient becomes blind. This is the cataract. Now, let's talk about the reasons why cataract occurs in old age and why it occurs in different people. One of the major reasons is heredity. Hereditary character which transmit from parents to the offspring, and if there is defect of cataract in parents, then that may be, it's not rule, may be transmitted, may transmit to the son or daughter. The one of the reason is heredity. Another is ultraviolet rays of sun. Solar radiation contains three different type of radiation, mainly heat radiation, light radiation, and a little ultraviolet rays. These are three major radiation of the sun. And if a person walks or exposed in the solar radiation for a long time, throughout his life for a long time, then ultraviolet rays coming from the sun harms the convex lens of eye, and cataract can occur in the eye. Okay, diabetes. This is another reason. Diabetes also enhance the cataract. If a person has diabetes, there is chance of being what? Cataract. Now smoking. If a person smoke, then smoking also enhance the cataract. Another, eye injury. If there is injury in eye and this injury goes to this convex lens of eye, injury in eye means injury in convex lens of eye, that may cause this cataract. Okay. Now how to correct this? We have to go through surgery again, and this is the method. We have to throw that natural convex lens of eye, and it has to be replaced by artificial lens. This is the artificial lens which is used to replace the natural lens. Normally, cataract surgery is done by the process of phacoemulsification. The process in which cataract surgery is done is called phacoemulsification. What is done in this process? At first, a small hole is made at one side of the eye, and an ultrasound producing device is inserted into the capsule of lens. In the capsule of lens, I told you in previous class also, our convex lens of eye is made up of living cells, and actually living cells are packed in the elastic capsule. We have to insert a prop which goes into the capsule, and it produces ultrasonic sound. Using this ultrasound, the vibration of ultrasound is used to break the natural convex lens of eye, and it is then broken down into pieces, and small pieces of lens is removed by the use of vacuum tube. And don't think that this is a big tube, this is a very small needle-like tube. Now an intraocular lens is inserted into the eye in place of the removed lens. This is the intraocular lens which we have to insert into the eye in place of natural lens. Okay, this is the surgery of what? Cataract. Seems to be a little difficult, but this is very easy type of surgery, but it is related to eye, that's why we feel it very difficult, but not difficult. Nowadays it is done within a few minutes. And I want to mention now the name of a person which is famous for this, Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth, he established a hospital. He is responsible to run a hospital in Tilganga of Kathmandu. he made this intraocular lens, and its cost is very less nowadays. We are sending it to other countries also, and he made this lens, very cheap lens, and he did a lot of the surgery related to cataract, and he is famous not only in Nepal, he is famous throughout the world. Mr. Ruit, Dr. Ruit, who is involved in this Tilganga hospital of Kathmandu, and this hospital is famous for doing this cataract surgery. Okay, now let's talk about another problem. After the cataract, I told you about the color blindness. Next problem is color blindness. What is it? The inability of eye to distinguish the color of the objects is called color blindness, which occurs due to the lack of one or more type of cone cells. Do you remember what is cone cell? I told this in previous class also. These are cone cells. Look at this concept. This is cone cell, this is cone cell, and these are not cone cells, these are rod cells. This is cone cell, receptor cell, which is present in the retina of our eye. Rod cells and cone cells are present in the retina of the eye. Cone cells are responsible to detect the color of the object. When colored light coming from the object falls on the retina, that is absorbed by these cone cells. And these cone cells is of three types: blue cone cells, red cone cells, and green cone cells. If one of them is less in number or absent in the cornea, then what happens? We will not be able to identify the color clearly. Color cannot be understood very clearly if one of them is missing or number of one of them is less. And look at this cone cells. This is there's a knob fiber coming out from the cone cell, makes a bundle, and that is called optic knob. In previous class it was described, and the information of the image formed on the retina is carried to the brain by optic knob. And optic knob is a bundle. Each of the knob collects at the back side of the eye and forms a bundle, that is optic knob, and carries information of the image to the brain. Okay. Now let's talk about night blindness also. What is it? The defect on the rod cells. Previously I told you about cone cell. Actually color blindness is related to cone cell, but night blindness is related to rod cells. The defect on the rod cells present on the retina of human eye cannot distinguish objects in dim light and causes night blindness or nyctalopia. This is, rod cells are related to what? Rod cells are related to the condition of light. Again I want to bring the same diagram. Look at, these are the rod cells. They are responsible to identify the condition of light. Cone cells are responsible for color, but rod cells are responsible to identify the condition of light. Okay. This rod cell, we can say a little detail also. Rod cell contains purple colored pigment called rhodopsin, which is sensitive to white, black and grey shade in dim light. The pigment is made up of protein and vitamin A, so the deficiency of vitamin A may cause night blindness. It means at night or in dim light we are not able to see the object clearly. This is called night blindness, and it is related to what? Rod cells. If there is defective rod cell, if there is less number of rod cells, then we will have night blindness. Okay, these are the problems other than defect of eye. Now I told about this. Now let's talk about the cornea in detail, because cornea is one of the very important part of our eye. What is it? Cornea means the outermost transparent layer of the front side of the eye is called cornea. In previous class I made this diagram and I told you that here we have cornea. The sclera, the outermost layer of the eye, eyeball bulges a little at the front side of eye and forms what? A transparent layer. This is called cornea. Yes, now we have to take care about the cornea, because if there is any damage or if there is any problem in the cornea, that becomes very dangerous. That cannot be corrected easily. Look at this. This characteristic of cornea, one of the great characteristic is the refraction of light is maximum at cornea. Refraction of light is maximum at cornea. It refracts light more than the lens of eye. Now, second, refractive index of cornea is 1.376. Do you remember that? Refractive index of glass is 1.5 and water is 1.3. It is more than water. Refractive index. It bends light a lot. Yes. And power of cornea is about 43 diopter. The power of convex lens of eye is less than cornea. Power of convex lens of eye in normal condition, in normal eye, it is about 20 diopter, but here it is more than 40. It means 2/3 of the refraction is done by what? Cornea. The cornea refract light a lot than that of the convex lens. That's why we have to take care about the cornea. Now, how to take care about the cornea? How to take care of cornea? Cornea should be protected from being scratched, hurt and injured. Very simple matter, isn't it? As far as possible, dust, small pieces of stone and metal should not enter into the eye. Otherwise, it can scratch or it can injure the cornea. Now, another, we have to take care of this also. In case of the use of contact lens, proper cleaning is necessary to prevent infection. It was told in previously also, I told you about this. While using contact lens, we have to take care, otherwise cornea may be affected by the bacteria and other dirt particles. Okay. Now, let's talk about some corneal disease. Corneal ulcer. Infection on the cornea may cause corneal ulcer or keratitis. Lack of timely treatment of keratitis leads the patient to blindness. Corneal ulcer. How it occurs? Because of the infection on cornea. Next is corneal edema. This is another problem with cornea. The accumulation of fluid between the corneal layers due to corneal injury or infection caused the blurred, it causes the blurred vision called corneal edema. This one occurs due to the infection, this one occurs due to the accumulation of fluid, this one means corneal edema, isn't it? There is another problem also, keratoconus. The swelling of the front part of the cornea makes it conical in shape called keratoconus. It causes the blurred vision. At first, the patient will be suffered with myopia. Later, it leads to blindness. Looking at all this, you have to remember that the ulcer is because of corneal ulcer is because of infection, corneal edema is because of the accumulation of this liquid, and this keratoconus is because of the swelling of the front part of the cornea. Okay, after all these, I think I finished many problems of eye. Now let's have question. I want to give you some question and you think about this, and we have to select one of the option, correct option. Laser surgery is the surgery of cornea in which a flap of cornea is cut down and removed. Is it? Is this statement correct? Just think about this. Now, let's go through this option. Only statement is correct. Is this correct? Laser surgery is a surgery of cornea. Yes. In which a flap of cornea is cut down and removed. No. We just fold it and we have to again recover the folding. We will place it in the previous position. It won't be removed. This statement is incorrect. So only statement is correct is incorrect. Now let's go through another option. Only argument 1 is correct. To correct the myopia by laser surgery, cornea is flattened according to the requirement to correct the myopia. Yes, I told you about this. The front side of the cornea is flattened a little to decrease its power to correct myopia. Yes, but only argument 1 is correct is told. Argument 2 is 2 may also be correct. That's why we have to go through this also. The middle part of the cornea is raised a little outward in laser surgery to correct hypermetropia. Yes, yes, the middle part is raised, which increases the power of lens, and converging capacity is increased and it corrects hypermetropia. That's why argument 1 and argument 2 are correct. So I can say that the fourth option is correct. Yes. Now this is the end of class. What I told you today, what we discussed today, other than the spectacle, is there any other method to remove the defect of eye, that is myopia and hypermetropia? I told you there are two other. Yes, one is what? Laser surgery. Another is contact lens, and I told you a little detail about the surgery and contact lens also. And then I told you about different other problems of eye. Yeah, cataract and night blindness, color blindness. What are they? How they occur? How can we correct this cataract? How can we have to go through surgery? And then lastly, I told you about the cornea in detail. There are some problem with cornea. One point I want to mention now. Actually, cornea is very delicate part. I think you have heard about eye donation. Yes, donation of eye means the donation of cornea. If a person dies and within certain time period his cornea is if taken out and is stored in proper medical requirement, I mean to say proper medical care, then it can be transplanted to those people who are suffering with corneal disease or corneal problem. And for this, with different people are doing this eye donation. Eye donation means actually cornea is donated to the healthy people who have damaged this cornea by those people who dies. Actually, after the death, my cornea can be used for other people. They can say like this, and this is called eye donation. Okay, I think I made this subject matter clear to you. Okay, after this, the chapter wave is finished. Now we'll meet in another class with some other matter in another chapter. Thank you.